Hi guys, my name is Mrs. Bonds and I teach first grade at Pymatuning Valley Primary School in Andover, Ohio. And the project that I've chose to speak about is guided reading and center activities in elementary grades. Our building that I teach at is kindergarten to fourth grade, and before I was a first grade teacher, I was a tutor in the building, so I worked with all different grade levels and specifically worked as a tutor with guided reading and worked with different teachers on how to implement centers and guided reading in a better way. So the first page of my website that I created talks about the purpose of my PLN on guided reading. And I have this cute little quote that, little picture that says guided reading, and it's a bunch of kids that are kind of sitting around and they're reading. And this is kind of what my classroom looks like. I have places for the kids to sit all over the room, not in just one area, for while I'm doing guided reading, that they can be reading, they can be exploring, they can be doing their center activities. It's a fun environment that I think all kids should be given. And then if you look down on the bottom here, I have a quote that says, "If you can read this, thank a teacher." And I totally agree with that. Being a teacher, I look back on my education. I went to Maplewood, and I went there from kindergarten to 12th grade, and I am still in contact with a lot of the teachers that are still teaching at Maplewood today. I've actually had one teacher who I was writing a paper for one of my first classes for my master's, and I had asked her if she would go ahead and look at one of my papers so that she could help me to make sure that I was on the right track for writing a master's level paper. So that was pretty awesome. And then it says, the purpose of my PLN website. The purpose of my PLN website is to provide teachers with the resources to make meaningful and thought out guided reading lessons, as well as provide center activities to take place during guided reading. And then you'll see below that my site video, which I'm creating, will be posted right here. On the next page, if you click on it, it says about Mrs. Bonds. And this is me right here. And like I said, I teach first grade. I've been teaching it for 5 years at Pymatuning Valley School in Andover. Before I was a first grade teacher, I was a tutor for 4 years. I have been married to my husband, Christopher, for 2 years now. He has two amazing daughters that live with us full time. And one is Samantha, she's 15, and one is Juliana, she's 12. And they both attend the school that I teach at, so that's kind of awesome. A little bit other stuff about me that I think is pretty cool is that my husband and I are expecting our first little girl in October. Her name's going to be McKenna. Also, I just want to say that I think that teaching has always been a part of my life. From day one, I've always wanted to be a teacher and reach kids and make them succeed. When I was little, I can remember asking my dad to take one of the rooms down in the basement and make it a schoolroom so that I could, play school. And I went away for a weekend to my grandma's, and I came back and he had the entire room remodeled into a schoolroom with bookshelves and books. And I mean, it was just pretty awesome. And it's pretty awesome today to see that my nieces and my nephew, they continue to play with that room. And want to play teacher, and it's pretty cool. And then I have my contact information below so that you can see that I have some other information there. And then the next page is my PLN introduction. And on this page, it just talks about my summary of what my capstone project's going to be about, and who I am, and what I currently use guided reading as. I have a 90-minute block in my day for the students, and then the other kids that I'm not meeting with are independently doing centers, which sometimes, that goes hand in hand with classroom management, because you have to have good classroom management while you're working with the group to have those other kids hands-on and focused on whatever centers they are working on at the time. Then I have my rationale, my goals, the timeline for this project was created, standards that you would use during guided reading, and then the impact of that project for those kids. Then the next page is my annotated bibliography, which is, this is the list of all the helpful resources that I've used to obtain my information about guided reading. There's also a summary of each article you'll see. After I found the article, I went through and I read the article and I kind of tried to summarize exactly what the article itself was talking about. And then there's a link to the article listed below for you to go there and find if you would like. Then if you go back up, if you click on the next page, which is Center Ideas, this is something that I really, really, truly love because I am always meeting with other teachers and asking them for their opinions on what they do during guided reading to keep the kids, you know, impacted and hands-on and working on their own. And a lot of teachers that I've talked to have said that they've created folders for kids that are, you know, at their level with activities, you know, listed by color. So certain kids that, you know, work at different levels would be yellow, and certain kids that work at a different level might be red. So those kids would know what level center activity they should be working on. I also have in my room created a center job, which is a job each week that a different student gets to do. And the kids, when they don't understand something or they don't know how to do something, they're able to go to that center person and they're able to ask that person for information about those centers and those activities. Also, another job that I've created during my centers is a technology person, and that person is somebody who will every day when it's center time, they log all of the computers that are in my classroom into the internet so that the kids can type their spelling words first, they can type their sentences, then they can go on to any educational game for you know, the first grade level. Some of the kids are reading at a third grade level, so there are some instances where the kids are, you know, doing activities that are at their level, which is third grade level, fourth grade level. I do have some higher readers. This year was one of the years that I had some pretty good, strong readers this year. And then you'll see the first one that I kind of want to talk to you about is this first one that's called 5 Writing Word Work. And if you click on the link, it will take you to this website. And this is a woman, her name's Mrs. Anderson, and she talks about the daily 5 writing and word activities. And you can see that she gives you like awesome activities to be doing with your kids to incorporate reading and writing. So it's back to the guided reading, connecting it to your centers. It's an amazing website. She talks on Monday that they write about their weekend. Tuesday they write a letter to their friend. Wednesday they get a break. They you know, they get a chance to make up any work that they need to make up. Thursday, I love that she brings in science because science and social studies are so hard to implement into my workday as it is. So if I can find something that's automatically put into those lessons, then that's, you know, a great start. So, and then you'll see that on Friday is Writing Center, and she lists on the bottom here, you'll see it gives you all of the examples that she goes through with the kids, which I think is amazing. And then you'll see that the Writing Center, she gives you I can statements and things that the kids can do. And I know that my first graders would love this. So I plan to implement this next year as one of my bulletin boards. And then she gives the different places for them to turn them in. And then she talks about word work, which I use word work in my centers, but I think that this is a great way to get the kids even more engaged. She has a roll and write, scented words, magnetic words, vocab words, and then if you look on the left here, she actually lists a bunch of different lessons to other websites that teachers have created on guided reading that you can use in your classrooms, and there are a lot of different activities to use. So then we'll go back to my centers, and under computers, there is this website right here talks about 10 tips for organizing technology in your technology centers, because my class, it's kind of, first grade, so you've got to get the kids, organized, knowing what they're doing, trying out technology ahead of time, explaining what you want them to do, and then give them a chance to actually go ahead and do that. And it even talks about assigning technology tutors, which I said, some of my higher kids I've assigned to help out. And then think about saving whatever the kids are working on. Ask them to save their work. And then we're going to go back to my website. And if you click on the next link, which is Components of Guided Reading and Tools to Integrate Technology, it actually talks about the 8 components of guided reading. And this is based right on Fountas and Pinnell. At my school, we use Fountas and Pinnell for all of our guided reading implementations. All components of any lesson that I do are geared right back towards Fountas and Pinnell. And that comes from an administrative level. So it talks about, the different components of it, having it being complex, centers of a sequence of high quality text, making sure that the lessons increase the volume of independent reading. Guided reading provides explicit instruction. Make sure that the lessons provide daily opportunities. And the guided reading lessons include teaching that expands students. And then lessons that invite students to write about reading, and guided reading lessons that create engagement. And then at the bottom, you'll see tools that you can use with guided reading that integrate technology. One that I really love, and I just started to use, was called this Blabberaz. And it's a great site that my first graders use with guided reading to portray the voices of the characters that they are in, they're reading about in their stories. It's an amazing tool to use to get those kids engaged in those lessons. And then the other one, I use a lot of these, but a lot of this ebook is another one. This is a great website that students can listen to and read books at their levels, which is amazing. And if you go back up, we're going to click on Fountas and Pinnell. And Fountas and Pinnell, here I've just simply given you what it looks like, what levels the kids should be reading at each level. Most of us probably know this, but I thought it would be, a good thing to put that in there for you to look at. And then this next page is helpful YouTube videos on guided reading lessons. And the first one is actually Technology in Reading. It's an instruction. It's a video by Deborah Gruritz. She's an associate professor at the National College of Education, and she talks about how to integrate technology into reading. So that's a really good one to watch. And then this is a first grade guided reading lesson by Jan Richardson, and this is a third grade classroom guided reading lesson. These are really, really good lessons to look at to make sure that your guided reading is same as that. The next one that we're going to talk about is Intervention for Struggling Readers. I've listed kind of what my school uses. We use the Journey series, Level Literacy Intervention, Reading Recovery, Reading A to Z, Running Records, Intervention Tutors, and Special Needs Services. So these are all types of activities and groups that you can go to, and you can talk about these with your students. And then the next page is, this is a guided reading program, Journeys, that I would like to talk to you about. So we are going to go to our PowerPoint in just a minute, and I'm going to show you how that works. Thank you.